What's the story, Morning Glory? What is up, Buttercup? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. So, I just wanted to have a quick conversation on the Netflix series Cheer. I just got done watching season two. I saw season one. I think it was in 2020. I think when we were deep in the whole quarantine phase. Watched season one. I absolutely loved it. I got sucked into the whole drama of it all. You had all of these breakout stars like Ladarius and Jerry and Gabby, obviously Coach Monica. And I really liked season one. So watching season two, wow, how far they've come because just to see how much this team fell, it was like some type of a Shakespearean drama. First of all, with Coach Monica, I think Coach Monica, fame got to her head. I think that she thought she was a bigger celebrity than she actually was. I did not see any of these commercials or I didn't see any of the cast on anything else that I come across that I watch on a daily basis. So I didn't know how big they actually became after season one. But watching season two and seeing all the stuff, the after effects of Cheer, when they were getting brand deals and sponsorships and showing up on Ellen and meeting Oprah and talking to the president and showing up on the red carpet and doing all of these interviews and being sponsored by Walmart and Cheerios. It was bananas. Absolutely bananas. And I didn't know that it got that big. But anyways, Coach Monica. I think Coach Monica let the fame get to her head because during the middle of practice, when they're in the gym practicing, she's telling different cheerleaders to go and talk to whoever to get them an agent. That's crazy to me. I thought these kids were going to college to get an education and also do cheer. An agent for what exactly? Like, who's these people? Their fame is going to last possibly 15 minutes. But she's talking to them about getting an agent. She got offered a spot on Dancing with the Stars. And I think that her head really was not in the whole Navarro cheer thing. I think her head was constantly thinking of, her rising fame and what is she going to do beyond Navarro and what other opportunities are out there for her. And that might be okay. That might be okay. Maybe she is meant to do something bigger and greater than being a cheerleading coach at a community college. I don't know. That might be what she's meant to do. But it seemed like the fame tore this team apart because when she got offered that spot on Dancing with the Stars, I think that's when there was a lot of cracks in that team, in the Navarro team. Her and Ladarius were already having issues. I'm not exactly sure how these issues started, but there's a scene in one of the episodes where they're doing a pyramid and the girl on top falls. The whole pyramid collapses and Coach Monica singles out Ladarius. And Ladarius thought that it really wasn't fair that she would single him out because it wasn't just him that was responsible, or it wasn't him at all that was responsible for the girl falling. And so he didn't understand, like, why are you calling my name out and not anybody else's? And I don't know if he was trying to put blame on the girl herself, but Coach Monica was saying, oh, okay, so it's not your fault. It's the girl's fault. She's the one that didn't, propel herself hard enough to the point where she ended up falling. And so then her and Ladarius, they go off and they have words, and he's really upset because he feels like he's always giving her 1,000% of himself. So why is she criticizing him? So I don't know if this was an issue of him not being able to take criticism because he's like, I'm always doing my best. Why would you criticize me at all? Or if it really was an issue of her singling him out when it wasn't just his fault, or possibly not his fault at all. But that's when we see the first crack in their relationship, because initially those two were super, super strong. Their relationship was really strong. They referred to each other as parent and child. He sees her as his mother. She sees him as his son, as her son. And she was inviting him over to her home for the holidays, all of that, because he came from a broken home. I think his mother ended up going to jail for drugs or something. So he came from a really traumatic childhood, and he goes to Navarro. He does this cheer thing, and she makes him into something. That's how he sees it. Those are his words. So we see cracks in their relationship, which was like really crazy. I'm not understanding if it was because of, I don't know why she started seeing him differently. I don't know, but you can tell that, I don't know if it was, maybe if it was because he wasn't getting the same type of deals as like the pretty, cheerleading girls were. So maybe she was more focused or more interested in, the girls who were getting deals, like the Gabbies and all of them. And maybe Ladarius wasn't getting the same type of lucrative deals. And so she kind of was like, he didn't mean that much to her anymore. I don't know. And then obviously the whole Jerry Harris thing, that was bananas. Absolutely bananas. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. I did do a video on Jerry Harris back in 2020 when the scandal first broke. So there's really no need to go into a lot of details. The only thing that I want to say about the whole Jerry Harris thing is that when we were watching season 2, before the scandal broke, before it became public, you notice that Jerry was not featured as much. Whereas in season 1, he was like the life of the party. But in season 2, he was definitely there, obviously before he got arrested. He was obviously there and he was his normal regular self, but they edited him out so much that we didn't see much of him, and understandably so. Then you have the whole thing with the other team, TVCC, Trinity Valley Community College. Coach Vontae Johnson, I think his name is. So we got to see more of a whole nother school. And that was fine. I have nothing really major to talk about with them. That was fine. Yeah, that was fine. So who else do I want to mention that really stuck out to me? So the Jerry Harris scandal, Ladarius and Monica. I really want to just focus on Monica. I really just feel like Monica let the fame get to her head. When she left her team to go do Dancing with the Stars and put that girl Kaylee in charge, I felt like Ladarius felt really hurt by that. I think that Ladarius, when we see later on, like in one of the final episodes where him and Monica are finally having it out, and he tells Monica that when I call you to tell you that something was happening, because during that time when she was gone to do Dancing with the Stars, I don't know what was happening with the team, but he was contacting her, reaching out to her, trying to keep her up to date with what was happening. I don't know if there were problems or what, and she wasn't responding at all. And he felt really ignored. And that was, to me, that's another example of her letting that fame get to her, because Ladarius was reaching out to her, trying to let her know what was happening with the team while she was gone doing her Dancing with the Stars gig. She wasn't responding because she was too busy doing Dancing with the Stars. Like, she could have cared less what was going on with the team. And I don't know if his issues were legit, because they didn't really expand on that. I don't know if his issues were legit or if he was just trying to get attention or what was going on. But the bottom line was he felt ignored by Monica, someone who was so close to him, who he saw was like his mother. He felt really ignored by her. I also wondered if Ladarius wanted Monica to put him in charge of the team instead of this Kaylee girl, because there was a scene in one of the episodes where he was talking about how he knew the team inside and out, because he's on the team. He's with these people every single day for hours at a time. So he knew the team inside and out. And I wonder if he was trying to make a point that I should have been the temporary coach. But then again, if he was going to be the coach, then I guess they would have had someone, take his place on the team. But I felt like he wanted to be the temporary coach. He felt like he had what it took to lead the team while Monica was gone doing Dancing with the Stars. And I don't know why Monica did not put him in charge of the team, because the Kaylee girl, from what I saw, she wasn't doing much of anything. She barely moved from behind the table. She coached from a very long distance. I don't know what she did. I don't know what was going on there, but that was, every moment that they spend practicing is important, leading up to the competition. Every moment spent practicing is crucial. But then you kind of have this temporary coach who acted like she didn't know what she was doing, or she really didn't care about what she was doing, because every time that she showed up, she was glammed out. And I was like, how long did it take you? How early did you have to wake up to get ready, for your scenes in the gym with the practice? because she was done from head to toe. And it was like, what are you showing up for, a photo shoot or to coach these cheerleaders? Because it was just too much. So I felt like she really wasn't there for the team. She was either there for her little photo op, her camera time, or whatever. I don't think she was really there for the team. So then when Monica came back from doing Dancing with the Stars, that's when the whole Jerry Harris story broke. That to me had nothing to do with fame or anything like that, other than maybe Jerry Harris feeling as if, well, like, he was a celebrity now and no one should say no to him. And, he was going to get what he wanted to get, even though he was clearly breaking the law and acting like, a number one criminal. I don't know. Maybe the fame made him think that he was untouchable. He can do whatever he wants, and nothing was going to happen to him. And them losing to TVCC in the national competition, I think it had everything to do with Monica. Just her head was not in it. There was a lot going on, her becoming famous, dealing with Jerry Harris. There was a lot going on. Her relationship with Ladarius ending. She really wasn't the coach that she needed to be to help this team win. And I think that's what really failed it all, caused them to fail or caused them to lose. I think it was just her head wasn't in it. So she couldn't keep that team together. I think the cheerleaders could see that this was not the same Monica. Plus, speaking of the same Monica, did she get work done on her face? Because she looked a little bit different to me than she did the previous year. The previous year. She looked like, I don't know, something about her face to me was different. I don't want to out her or anything, but her face just looked different to me. Also, Ladarius going on social media and just dragging the whole Navarro squad. Coach Monica, I don't know who else he was talking about, but his anger was directed towards Coach Monica. And then him picking that fight with Kaylee over a dog. I really do think that Ladarius felt crushed when Monica chose Kaylee to take over the team instead of him. At the very last episode, when him and Monica were talking it out and trying to, the way she was crying, because they finally had to sit down talking about all their issues and where the relationship ended, because he ended up showing up for the competition to support Team Navarro. And when she saw him there, she completely broke down, because I guess she thought that he would never want to see her again. But he ended up showing up. They ended up having a very deep conversation in her hotel room. And the way she was acting and the way she was crying with Ladarius, it made me think that she felt a lot of guilt for how she treated him. He probably should not have gone to social media and dragged her and did whatever he did on social media. But I feel like he came from a place of pain. Obviously, he was hurt. But I feel like she felt very guilty for how she treated him. I don't think that relationship is repairable. I think that they can be civil with each other again. I don't think it could ever be the way it was before, because that trust was really, really broken on both ends. She felt like she couldn't trust him. He felt like he couldn't trust her. So the trust between them was really broken, but they can definitely repair it. But I think there's going to be definite cracks in their relationship. What else do I have to say about Cheer? This show was bananas. Season 2 was absolutely bananas. I felt like TVCC should have won. I think that they had a really good, strong team. I like the fact that Coach Vontae took a chance on some of these kids who probably would not have had an opportunity like this. Yeah, I like Coach Vontae a lot. It would be great if Cheer came back and focused on TVCC, like the way they focused mainly on Navarro in season 1. It would be really good if they did another Cheer season with just Coach Vontae and TVCC, and I guess whoever their rival is. If the rival is Navarro, then Navarro 2, or whoever their number 1 rival will be. Yeah, that's about it. It was really sad to see Ladarius go. It was disappointing to see how Coach Monica changed. And of course, Jerry, there's just no words. Like how he could have victimized, those twins the way he did. It's just absolutely disgusting. And Yeah, that's my little 2 cents on cheer. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment, and definitely subscribe. Bye bye.